Preparing for the property appraisal as a listing broker. So you got the real estate contract signed and you've probably gotten through attorney review and inspection. So the seller's feeling some relief. They have some confidence this deal is going to move forward, as does the buyer, and the lender orders the appraisal. They typically wait to conclude AI because it does cost the buyer about $500 to get an appraisal done. So again, confidence is building, the deal's building momentum, but we have to make sure that the appraisal goes smoothly and comes out at value. The goal of an appraisal is to determine the fair market value of a property. It is conducted by a licensed appraisal that is hopefully familiar with the area. Yes, I've run into valuations where they pull comps from locations that don't make sense, like west of Western for a Bucktown sale, and you really have to educate the appraiser and potentially request an appeal if it does not come in at value. We will talk about that later. When the request comes in, we always confirm immediately and accommodate their schedule. We personally like to meet the appraisers on site, and because the appraisers can literally make or break a deal, and we do like to do a little ass kissing at that time. We really like to make their lives easy. We email and bring to the appraisal the fully executed sales contract, 3 relevant comps that support pricing of the sales contract, the listing sheet, plus any updates the seller has performed while they've owned the property. Floor plans, this is super important. You guys have all seen appraisers walking around the home measuring. Why would you not bring floor plans? One, it limits the time that you need to be at the property, so it expedites the process and makes their job easier. If you are doing a single family home, bring the plat of survey if you have it. Why not ask? Most sellers have it. Again, make the appraiser's life easier and build a relationship so they know that they're getting all the information when they meet you in the future. Just make life easy for them. We started making this process about 10 years ago, and we've had fantastic results with appraised values. What is the appraisal process? Well, a request is made, this is from the lender's perspective. A request is made for an appraisal as part of a mortgage application. So a property appraisal is going to occur and the actual appraiser goes to the property and inspects the interior and the exterior of the property. Comparable sales analysis is performed to compare the property to recently sold properties in a similar area, similar to what you would do as a buyer's agent. The appraiser will compile all the pertinent information into a comprehensive appraisal report, typically powered by software that helps compute the final value, which is then submitted to the lender for review. And the lender will have an internal review and make sure that the document is current, they pulled recent comps, and the data is actually supporting value. And they probably just run it through an automated system. I doubt there's a person doing that. The determined value is appraised. The determined appraised value will play a significant role in the real estate transaction and ultimately helps assure the lender that the property will provide sufficient collateral for the loan. So God forbid the loan fails and goes into foreclosure, they can sell the property, get their money out. That's the objective from the lender's perspective. An appraisal is almost always required when purchasing with a mortgage. We're seeing some appraisal waivers in the city in condos. This typically happens when you have strong down payment in a stable market where banks are happy to lend, and they'll do a digital analysis and look at the photos and comparables, and that will help them verify the value. So what happens if the appraisal comes in lower than the sale price? As a listing broker, not good. As a buyer's agent, you're also like, what is happening? So I am a firm believer that value is dictated by buyers and sellers, and that should hold true. And the appraisal should really just come in to verify. So what can you do? The buyer can ask the seller to negotiate the sale price to better align with the appraised value. I've seen literally everything from splitting the difference to the buyer walking away to the seller walking away and everything in between, a 60-40 split. You need to work with the buyer's agent. You need to help everybody understand that really the appraisal is not the final word. It is just some guy coming in, crunching numbers using an algorithm to sort of dictate pricing. It's not easy, but you guys, this is a hurdle you're going to have to overcome. And I'm happy to, do this on a case-by-case basis with you and help you figure out how to get to the goal line. That's the tricky piece. But you guys, you can negotiate values. The buyer can pay out of pocket and just say, hey, I understand it was a fast-moving market. I'll cover the delta. Or the buyer could kill the deal or bluff killing the deal, and hopefully the seller will, kick in some money. So why did the appraisal come in lower? Well, an appraisal could come in lower for several reasons. It happens when there are a fast moving market. So you're having a really quick upward trajectory in pricing, and there aren't recent sales to help support the values. The appraiser may not have had enough data in the area, like there aren't enough recent sales in the area to support pricing, and they may have had to go outside the immediate area. And we know that those, hyper local neighborhoods definitely have different pricing. The majority of the property may be below grade, and they had to use a different dollar per square foot analysis. The extra features of the property that help boost the value in the sale didn't necessarily translate to the appraisal's value. The appraiser didn't inspect the comps close enough, or didn't have enough vital information, or the appraiser really wasn't, experienced appraiser when he was green. And that is also something we see. It's everything in between and everything that we're going to deal with when you guys are selling property. Requesting an appeal is something that you guys can do, but honestly, it is so hard to have an appraiser go back, check their work, and say, yep, you were right, I was wrong, I'll change the value. So what do? We've seen buyers switch lenders. Sometimes that will help. There are experienced appraisers out there that work with lenders, not really collusion, but they have relationships that help get you to that final price. We always want the buyers to pay fair market value. That really is our goal. And we want the appraisers to understand that they're really just out there to dictate pricing, or to support pricing, not dictate pricing. So we're seeing, we have not seen many appraiser issues in the past years, but I have experienced this in markets where we're seeing 20, 25% of properties come back with appraisals that are below the sale price. Get out there, educate your buyers, make sure they understand that that is not the final word. Work towards resolution and get everybody on a collaborative playing field so we can get to the finish line. Good luck on all your appraisers moving forward. Some of them can be challenging, especially in these markets where people are paying over list price and, waiving contingencies. If anyone has any questions, let me know. Cool. Thanks for joining, everyone.
I think